Welcome to part 2 of my video on the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction of April 4th, 2020. If you haven't already watched part 1 to get the astrology part, I do recommend that. There's a link to that in the notes at the bottom. So I'll assume you've watched that and we'll move forward from there. So now we know what all the planets in the Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto triple conjunction are bringing to the party. Here's what I make of all this. The coronavirus pandemic could act as a necessary corrective for humanity. It has accomplished something extraordinary, you could even call it miraculous, that has never before happened during my 60-year lifetime and hasn't happened actually for over 100 years. COVID-19 has presented humanity with a global mortal threat. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, first world or third world. The virus couldn't care less about your religion, your sexual orientation, or the color of your skin. If you get it, it could kill you. Even if you survive, it can use your body to implant itself in other humans. You could have it right now and not know it, unwittingly accelerating its spread. The existence of this equal opportunity pandemic is remarkable enough, but what's equally extraordinary and ripe with life-affirming opportunity is humanity's response. All across the world, we're seeing the temporary closure of non-essential businesses and the elimination of public gatherings. Many of our usual distractions, such as concerts, festivals, and sporting events, have disappeared almost as rapidly as if Thanos had snapped his fingers. Many of us, working fewer hours from home or suddenly not working at all, find ourselves with extra time on our hands. Some will simply replace their usual distractions with others. They'll immerse themselves in games, TV shows, movies, and music. Oblivious to the larger opportunity offered by this pattern interrupt, or not motivated enough to take advantage of it, they'll experience no significant shift in their consciousness. But many others will sense the magical opportunity humanity is being offered and will capitalize on it. With the plug suddenly pulled on their usual busyness, they'll start to slow down. They'll spend more time outside. Spring is budding in the northern hemisphere, and be nurtured by the calming, healing energy of nature. They'll develop more meaningful connections with the people they live with, or will use the phone or web to dive deep with friends and loved ones. These interactions will nurture many positive feelings. These and other experiences may also catalyze challenging feelings and thoughts, the kind they usually ignore or repress. In their hectic pre-pandemic lives, they never made time for them, but now they can. Some will already have effective tools and techniques to do this essential inner shadow work. Others will learn how to do it using simple DIY tools such as my free healing invocation. There will be a link in the notes about that. Some will discover that each layer of shadow work effectively done automatically opens them to a new level of spiritual awakening. Encouraged and excited by this newfound bliss and ecstasy, they'll feel called to establish a deeper spiritual connection. They'll unearth, perhaps for the first time in their current incarnation, an ever-present peacefulness inside themselves, burning warm and steady like an unquenchable fire. They'll learn how to seamlessly merge their human self with the higher self that created them. They'll discover that this makes harmony, flow, ease, and grace their new normal. Thousands do this every day, quickly and easily, using my free embodied awakening invocation. Again, there will be a link to that in the notes. Once they awaken enough, they may have a realization that's first shocking, then comforting. At the soul level, they chose to be on earth at this time, even knowing in advance what a mess it was going to be. They came not to simply survive, but to serve. They knew in advance that it would be a high-risk operation. Many light warriors come to earth, fall under the spell of spiritual amnesia, and never remember their missions. They get plenty of hints and nudges, as well as more dramatic wake-up calls like the current pandemic. But Earth is a free will zone. Each human gets to choose whether to awaken or continue their spiritual slumber. This is a tremendous opportunity that the coronavirus has given us, individually and collectively. It has wrenched us out of our normal routines. Suddenly, unexpectedly, we have more time to turn inside and discover our true nature. At the very least, we can tune into the calm spiritual core that will help us navigate these troubled times more smoothly. Many of us will awaken to the service we came here to perform, and by deepening our divine connection, will receive the ongoing intuitive guidance we need to fulfill our mission. The particulars of each person's mission are unique, but they're all being coordinated by an overarching divine intelligence toward one glorious outcome, a new golden age on Earth. And the coronavirus is exactly the catalyst we needed to get it rolling. Now, I'm hardly the first one to put forth this idea. Many spiritual teachers have already shared their takes on this, but I can share the unique vision I recently had of this near future Earth. A few days ago, I was asked to be part of an online group event. We were asked to enter into silent meditation for 15 minutes while imagining what the new higher vibration Earth might be like. I don't have a strong visual imagination, so I did what I often do when my personality isn't up for a task. I asked my higher self to do it for me. I asked to receive visions of this more wonderful Earth. As always, my higher self delivered the goods. One by one, I received the following visions. 1. A person walking peacefully through the world, his aura automatically blending with the natural world around him. His consciousness is focused primarily in his physical body, but he doesn't perceive himself as a separate being. He simply knows that he's one with everything around him. 2. I saw two people in an urban setting walking toward each other from opposite directions. They don't appear to know each other. As they near each other, their auras blend. For a moment, as they pass, they enjoy an ecstatic soul communion. As they continue walking in opposite directions, their fields automatically separate. I get the sense that this sort of euphoric connection is routine among strangers, as commonplace to them as waving a hand or saying hello is to us. Then I saw hundreds of people gathered in a large circular building. This is the third one. Everyone is seated in amphitheater-style circular tiers with two people seated and facing each other in the center. These two are masters of ecstatic blending. They merge their energy fields without touching physically, then are joined by everyone else in the building. This mass blending of souls creates an extraordinary amount of shared spiritual ecstasy. The more, the merrier. I got the sense that this society prefers this sort of cooperative group experience rather than sports or other competitive events. 4. In this world, selfless sharing is the norm, and there's no monetary system. There's plenty of abundance for everyone. 5. Telepathic communication is commonplace. People can choose whose thoughts they wish to receive. Their communication is much more clear and succinct than ours. Direct mental transmission eliminates the ambiguity so frequently caused by spoken or written words. 6. I sense that this world has a relaxed, sex-positive culture. Those who are attracted to each other are free to have an erotic connection. There's no sense of inhibition, guilt, or prudishness. 7. In addition to the individual consciousness associated with the physical body, people are also part of the planetary consciousness. Everyone can easily hold both levels of awareness at the same time. And finally, 8. Love pervades everything. The norm is harmony, flow, ease, and grace. Many of these thoughts and images were entirely new to me and came with a sense of surprise. There was a very clear sense of receiving these images rather than creating them with my imagination. Before that, on March 17, I led members of my Awakening Plus online spiritual support membership as we communicated with the consciousness of COVID-19. Several people shared the messages they received from the virus with the group. The particulars differed, but the theme was unanimous. The coronavirus is a being of light that brings us tough love, global societal disruption designed to help us all shift to a higher level of consciousness. Finally, I'll share an emphatic message I received during a recent plant spirit ceremony. Mother Earth told me, I can't wait any longer. I have to move to the next dimension now. I believe that the global shift to higher consciousness is happening now. Of course, I could be wrong. But if enough of us act as if it's true, by treating each other with more love, compassion, and generosity, the world will become a much more wonderful place. That's our choice with the titanic energies of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and their collective Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto triple conjunction. The awesome potency of all this astrological power could result in a totalitarian hell or a utopian heaven. It's our choice. Every thought you think, every word you speak, and every action you take is a choice for one or the other. It's a US election year, but your most important vote will not be for president. With mankind's fate in the balance, what future are you voting for with your thoughts, words, and actions? P.S. I highly recommend that you check out, if it's not April 5th yet, check out the global 20-minute meditation at the moment of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. That's April 4th at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is designed to create a massive shift for humanity in the most positive and harmonious direction possible. They're trying to get 1 million people holding this vision at the same time, which would create an amazing shift. And secondly, and less time critical, Charles Eisenstein, one of my favorite writers, just published a long, balanced, deeply thoughtful, massively insightful essay on the coronavirus. It's like 9,000 words, every one of them a gem. And I link to all this again in the notes below. Thanks for watching. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I can serve you with astrology readings, shamanic healing, awakening activation, astrological event timing, and one-of-a-kind life coaching. All my one-on-one services are equally effective in person or long distance. And during the pandemic, I've dropped my rates significantly because so many people are experiencing financial hardship. I also offer an unbeatable price on SolarFire, the #1 astrology software for Windows. And as I mentioned, I run the Awakening Plus online membership for spiritual support. You can learn about all this and more at astroshaman.com. Thanks again for spending this time with me. Stay safe, stay healthy. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.